Finally! I'm so excited. Hi, guys. Hi, it's me. It's your girl. I'm here. I'm doing it. Hi, guys. Welcome to my new podcast. I don't think you guys understand how excited I am to be doing this. It's literally a dream come true. First of all, to be sitting here yapping all day, sign me up. But what makes it even better is the fact that I'm speaking in order to help you guys elevate your own lives. For those of you who are new here, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so you can stay up to date with all my content. As for the people who have been following me and are here today, I'm so happy to see you here. You guys already know we're gonna have such a good time. Let's get started. So, my podcast is going to be centered around consciousness and personal development. I feel like there are a lot of people out there that discuss spirituality and a lot of people out there that also discuss personal development, but I haven't seen many people encapsulate both of these in the same way that I can. I have a unique perspective to share, and that is why I am here today. I feel like nowadays in the personal development space, it's all just like the same. Like I watch all of these videos of these podcasters and everything sounds like copy paste. Like there's no like soul. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what I'm seeing is it's just like someone almost yelling at you to get your shit together. And also at the same time, get this, assume that you are somebody who doesn't have their shit together in the first place. Like, what if I do have my shit together and I just want to know how I can improve my life more? It's almost like I'm being sent to the military when I watch some of these videos on the internet. And this is no hate against other creators, but it is so weird watching YouTube videos where I'm just trying to gain more information on how to better myself, yet I feel like I'm being talked to like I'm a fucking loser that lacks common sense. Like I'm being yelled at. I don't know about you guys, but I love myself a little too much to put myself through that, you know? Listen, I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm also a victim to not only talking to myself quite strongly, I would say passionately, but also others. I am currently in the process of learning how to speak with more kindness and understanding, so please bear with me. All in all, the point that I'm trying to achieve here is that you are not gonna be in a boot camp with me, okay? You're definitely not a loser. I'm not gonna make you feel like one, and you're definitely not miserable. If you think you are, then please stop telling yourself that. To sum it all up, my podcast is about spiritual and personal development and what that means for you. I like to use the word consciousness instead of like saying spiritual development. I don't know. I kind of just think it sounds cooler. I don't know what it is. But my point in that is being as conscious as possible is what will lead to consistent spiritual and personal development. One of my favorite quotes is consciousness determines the quality of life. I am going to be sharing everything spiritual and personal development from A to Z. Some examples of my future episodes include how to figure out your purpose, reprogram your mind, become magnetic, be full of health, become enlightened, become beautiful, etc., etc. Or not enlightened, because like honestly, you don't. I'm like even Buddhists are like not fully, you know, they're like, oh, I guess they, but you know what I mean? Become more enlightened, you know what I'm saying? Think of me as a source of information, motivation, and guidance. I am going to do everything in my power to provide you guys with the best tips, tricks, advice, and examples on how to reach your highest potential. So I wanted to start this off by telling you guys a little bit about my own personal development story because honestly, I do not take advice from people in positions that I don't want to be in, okay? So I'm going to give you guys my reasoning as to why you should listen to me. It all started a few years ago. I found myself in a really, really, really bad place. I went through a series of traumatic events back to back, and I was already pretty depressed to begin with. So the effects were catastrophic at that point. Like when I was down bad, I wasn't just down bad on some light shit. It was the result of a lifetime of bad decision making, trauma, and of course, the unfortunate circumstances that I was born into. This was the end of the domino effect of my traumas that started as a child. This series of severely, and I mean severely traumatic events led me to come crashing down. I lost my identity, sense of self-worth, confidence, belief in myself, literally everything you can think of. I was left as a shell. I had no idea who I was, what I was good at. I felt worthless. I was insecure. I was a complete and utter mess, and I do not say that lightly. I'm assuming that if you're here, you already know that your internal reality is what dictates your external reality. So you're probably wondering what I look like at this point. Well, here's a photo. And another one. Yeah, not that cute, not that classy, not that je ne sais quoi, that girl. I just had like a lot going on. This last picture I just showed you is from May of 2021. After this picture, I dyed my hair back to black and started to get into personal development. I started reading books, doing light workouts, changing my mindset, journaling, etc. But something was not working. It's like no matter what I was learning, my circumstances stayed the exact same. By May of 2022, I realized that my poor habits, stress, and circumstances were severely impacting my life. I was on a steady decline in a very, very, very bad one. Here is a picture of my skin at the time. My skin was so inflamed that it physically hurt to touch any single part of it because of all the breakouts that I had. I was also 95 pounds from working out but not eating enough. Things were just really fucking bad. I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. I thought that I was doing everything right. I was reading, I was working out, I was journaling, I was avoiding things that weren't good for me. So what was it that was hindering my growth? Finally, by June of 2022, I went ahead and quite literally destroyed all of my circumstances in order to create new ones. I felt like I had to completely start over from zero. So I did just that. I quit my job. I took a hefty pay cut. I broke up with the person that I was with, and I moved to a very small, tiny studio. And to top it all off, I got into a car crash. Definitely not on purpose. That was just God's will, I guess. So at this point, I was in a completely new state by myself. I had moved to Los Angeles from Chicago by myself earlier that year. I had only one friend there, no car, no job, just some savings, a shitty apartment, and some good old faith in myself and God. The next year and a half, I fully devoted all of my time to personal development. I barely went out. I wasn't drinking and partying, nothing. All I did were the same 9 things. Number 1, I changed my mindset. This was the biggest thing, and I will explain exactly what I changed a little later. 2, I read books. 3, I listened to podcasts. 4, I exercised. 5, I ate well. Like I didn't just eat healthy foods, I got into nutrition and started eating the right foods. 6, I meditated. 7, I listened to affirmations. 8, I journaled, scripted, and visualized the woman I wanted to be. And 9, I let myself relax and enjoy life from time to time. Now, I kept doing these same things. I did not stop. I tried to better myself by 1% every single day. Even if I was sitting at home all day and didn't feel like doing anything, I put some time into reading or listening to a podcast. I just wanted to stay consistent when it came to educating and bettering myself. I was completely and utterly devoted to my self-development. Disclaimer again, this is not the military, baby. I don't want you guys to freak out and think that I'm on some sort of hectic, scary hustle mode. Again, I'm not trying to put y'all into some boot camp because it's not very feminine, that's not very cute, that's not very classy, okay? Wait, I like that. That kind of has a ring to it. That's not very cute, that's not very feminine, that's not very classy. We're not on some hectic, scary hustle mode. I was certainly not on that type of time. In fact, it was the complete opposite. I was moving a lot slower than I had before. I was finally taking my time with things, retracting, and letting myself relax when I needed to. This was honestly another big shift in comparison to that year prior. I was always in a rush back then. Anyways, throughout this year and a half, there were times where I wasn't going to the gym days straight or eating properly, but I never made myself feel like shit about it. I never penalized myself from taking a break from all of that shit. I let myself live, and that is so, so, so important. This is an act of self-love, and it signals the universe exactly that you love and value yourself. One more thing, you guys, we live in a society where personal development and capitalism, productivity, all this and that is really shoved down your throat. And at the end of the day, it is really a small fraction of what really matters. Not to be a simp, but what really matters at the end of the day, cultivating your soul and finding your purpose and things of that sort, and all of your personal development and all your hobbies and this and that should also kind of play into that somehow. And I'll talk about that more on my channel, but let's keep going. Doing all of those things that I mentioned earlier consistently helped me tremendously. Slowly, step by step, my outer reality started to reflect the image that my mind had visualized. It was like my outer world was taking baby steps and reminding me that my efforts were, in fact, paying off. It was telling me to keep going. These signs weren't always in my face. At times they were very small, like a synchronicity, deja vu, or someone saying something that validated my manifestations, etc. You have to keep an eye out for signs. After many months of doing this, something suddenly changed. In October of 2023, about a year and a few months after my whole destruction of my circumstances, the baby steps turned into louder steps. It was like my outer world went from a little baby that was like do 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 to a literal 12-year-old child that was knocking on the door. I started to see the exact reality that I dreamt of unfold. Now, this was perhaps the most insane experience, and as I am sitting in front of you guys, it is still going. I am vibrating at the highest frequency that I have in years, probably my entire life. So I feel that it is necessary to pass on this energy. So during this journey, I woke up and realized one of the reasons I was going through so much turmoil these past few years. Obviously, it was for my own personal character development, but I also realized it was for something so much larger than just me. It was so I could get to the point where I was sitting right in front of a camera and sharing every single thing I learned for the benefit of the collective. It is one of my purposes in life to ignite a fire within people that guides them towards their highest potential. I realized that I was one of those people that was meant to transform the people around me. Everything I'm going to share today and forward on this channel will undoubtedly 100% transform you in some way, shape, or form. All you have to do is listen, intuitively decide what information aligns with you, and implement it as soon as possible. Emphasis on implementation. One of the key factors in your growth is not only educating yourself and broadening your worldview, but it is also implementing the knowledge that you learn in your everyday life, whether it be spiritual or practical knowledge. Do not be afraid to test out different philosophies or ways of living that you learn about, but only stick to what works best for you. Let's get into it. I'm going to be making videos on how to for the 9 things that I listed earlier. For this video, I wanted to focus on my mindset because I feel like that was the biggest shift. So back when I started my personal development journey, I was making a few huge mistakes. One, I unknowingly had a lack mindset while thinking I had an abundance mindset. Let me explain. Now, I wanted everything and believed that I could have it, but I believed I needed it because I lacked everything. I was coming from a place of having nothing. Realistically speaking, in the 3D world, the physical, the third dimension, the place where we're all existing, I really wasn't much after all of my traumas and what they did to me, but what I wanted to be was always inside of me. Because in 5D, aka the 5th dimension in the spiritual realm, I had everything and I was everything. So how did I go from this lack mindset to truly feeling abundant? There was such an easy answer to this. Gratitude. You cannot have an abundance mindset when you are lacking gratitude for what you already have. That is a contradiction. You cannot align yourself with abundance and believe you have it if you are not feeling abundant already. Expressing gratitude is aligning yourself with abundance. You are abundant and you have been and you always will be. It has always been around you. Remember that things are relative. Abundance in one person's life will look very different in another person's life based on their individual circumstances. So the thing with me was I felt like things were literally unfair. I felt like it was so shitty that I had to go through so much self-transformation in order to just be happy with myself. I had bombarded myself with so much I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to be this, I need to be that I became so unbelievably ungrateful for the person that I already was. So I started to express gratitude for everything that I could think of. I actually remember the day that I first did this. I started breaking down and I kind of felt like I just went through some sort of awakening. It was like I was waking up to who I was and the person that I forgot that I was. I took it upon me to express gratitude for everything that was around me. I walked around my room. I expressed gratitude for every little thing that was in my house, every little detail of my existence, every moment that I made someone laugh, every picture, every smile that I put on someone's face, everything that I had accomplished, small or large. I expressed my gratitude for every person in my life, everything I owned, every flower I saw, every animal I got to touch, every single detail of my life that there was. I eventually reached a point of gratitude where I started expressing gratitude for the very fact that I was even sitting there expressing gratitude and wanting myself to be better. There are millions of people out there that simply do not give a flying fuck about wanting better for themselves. I realized I was not somebody who was unhappy with myself. In fact, I was somebody who was obsessed with myself. I cared about myself so much that I was willing to stress myself out for it. I was like a living paradox. So I shifted from this lack mindset of I am not enough, so I have to become this in order to be enough. I have always been enough, and I simply want more for myself. I want to create more beauty in my life, more happiness, more warmth, more friends, more money, whatever it may be. I never told myself I wanted more because I felt like I was lacking in anything. I began to constantly express gratitude for what I had, align myself with the feeling of abundance by doing so, and welcomed more. I want you guys to do this exercise because I feel like this really helps me. And I might cringe later when I watch this and be like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But like, it seriously works and it's like so amazing. But I want you to like literally open your arms wide and be like, I love everything that I have. I have everything that I need. I have the world in my hands. That is powerful, baby. You are literally harnessing an energy that is signaling to the universe that you believe you are worthy of it all. Do this in your house, do this in your room, do this in your kitchen, do this at random times of the day. Just be like, I deserve it all, okay? I'm worth all of it. Just say that shit. Let's keep going. Gratitude isn't something that you just learn once and boom, it's done. It stays that way. No, you have to continue practicing gratitude in your mind as much as possible. Next shift. I had this weird backwards belief that you had to go through a lot of turmoil in order to develop yourself, that things didn't come easily, that you needed to go through a lot of hardship in order to come out on top. I think ultimately I was confusing hardship with hard work. Hard work is required to be successful, but you don't have to think that hardship is. Simply choose not to align yourself with it. And what that means is you don't have to attach yourself to the hardship that you go through. While I think that hardship is inevitable, it is temporary. It is not a constant. When you go through hardship, you must see it as temporary. You cannot accept that it is your circumstance. You cannot think that it is the end and that you are stuck there. No matter how long that hardship lasts, baby. I went through hardship for 3 years. That was not easy. Every time it was like the next year, I'd be like, finally, this is gonna be the year. This is gonna be it. Boom. Hell on earth. But you know what? It's what it is. No matter how long it lasts, you have to hold on and have hope. You have to see it as something that is just running its course as a part of being human. The problem with me was not only was I allowing these feelings of stress and anxiety into my sphere, but I was quite literally basking in them. I was addicted to the feeling of sorrow. I was addicted to the feeling of sadness. I think that after many years of depression, I became very comfortable in sitting with that sadness, so much so that I found comfort in it. I would sit in my bed for days. I would have a negative worldview. I would walk around with this fear or paranoia that the world was out to get me, that I had these imaginary battles that I had to win in order to come out on top, yada yada. The truth is, there is only one battle in life, and that is the battle between you and yourself. You decide how the battle goes. You can choose to make it hard, or you can choose to make things peaceful and a whole lot easier for yourself. And that is what I did. I simply chose to make the battle with myself a lot fucking easier. I stopped allowing any negative feelings or thoughts into my sphere. I stopped caring what other people were doing or the fact that I wasn't where I wanted to be yet. I just honestly let myself exist and I loved myself through it. Something that really helped me was seeing myself as my younger self. Like I was a child, like I was a baby, you know, and I was like, why would I do things to myself that would make her upset or make her cry? Why would I treat her in a way that wouldn't make her feel like the happiest, that wouldn't make her feel comfortable? If she's sad, then I'm not gonna sit there and let her be sad. I'm gonna do something so that she's not upset anymore. If she's really mad, I'll do something to calm her down. If she's really happy, I'll keep adding to that happiness. You really gotta take care of yourself, kind of like you are a third, like seeing yourself in a third person. Like I know it's like kind of like cuckoo, but it really does help. And lastly, the third reason that really changed my mindset is I started to believe in God. It wasn't until I made a shift towards believing in God instead of the universe that things really started to make sense to me. When you place faith in the higher power, that is when you will truly be able to let go and let God, baby. Especially for women who want to be in touch with their femininity. This seriously is like the last thing that you really need to fully become feminine. This is the key to alleviating a lot of the masculine energy that is created when you are stuck trying to figure out everything yourself. I'll definitely make a video on how believing in God makes you more feminine, but that's for a later time. I know that some people start to get a little scared when the word God comes into the picture. At least that was me, because I was very like atheist, agnostic growing up. So if you're someone who was like me, who didn't even like the word God at some point, just think of him as the highest power, the source. Now, what exactly does it mean to be the source? The source literally means the source of everything good on this planet. And when you create a connection to the source, you are opening the gateway towards infinite wisdom, love, intelligence, joy, purpose, happiness, etc. The list goes on. It's honestly quite magical. I'll be elaborating more on this topic in a future episode, but I want you guys to seriously think about your own personal relationship with God/the source. Do you feel connected? Do you feel distant? Do you feel ashamed or that it is upset with you? These are all very important questions you should ask yourself, because on the other side is your access to infinite happiness and well-being. Well, ladies, that basically concludes it for the first episode. That was a whole lot of information. I really hope you guys enjoyed this and received what you were looking for. There is so much to come in future episodes. Once again, I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to sit and listen to me. If you guys have any questions that you want me to answer or ideas for future episodes, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments. Until next time, my angels, mwah.